What's up, guys? My name is Ghost. It's another edition of the weekly update on ES and SPY and what to look forward to this week. So let's get to it. So first time frame, first ticker we're going through is ES on the weekly time frame. As you can see, I have the zones already drawn up. This is our yearly low weekly zone. Our next zone above that for our demand, where we've seen a few touches now, is that 3800 zone. And then our supply zone, which I kind of spoke about on our last video, we finally got there. Now this week we're definitely gonna have to stay patient. The month's coming up, and as you can see, this zone right here, this is why a lot of big money just come in on the weekly time frame and pour a lot of money. They get to their levels, they take their profits, they come back, pick up some orders missed out, they come back. So right now we did break through this downtrend right here, and we're more in a consolidation area where we got our swing low area right here and our swing high area right here. So what we want to see is what happens between these two zones right here, this consolidation zone. These are weekly candles, so obviously if you're expecting to take a move from here to here, don't do it with the ODTE. Don't do it with a 1 week out contract. These are weekly candles. Took about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 candles to get to this zone, and about 3 back up. So you definitely want to have your expirations and your expectations line up. So definitely what I'm going to be watching is what we do in this zone right here, that 41.10 to 42.43. I'm not sure if we'll get all the way up to the top of the zone. That one we'll just react to see how that plays out. We'll see it on the smaller time frames, but it's something to just kind of refresh your mind and see what happens. If we do break above 42.43, I do clearly expect us to go to this 44.20 level, and if we do break below this 38.20, I do expect us to go back to that weekly low level. So just now, just playing the games inside the channel. Lots of money to be made between these two zones, and we're definitely going to try to capture it. So that's all for the weekly. Let's get into the daily. So now that we're on the daily time frame, this is where I mostly like to pay attention to when I'm trading throughout the week. Get my zones and levels drawn out. Right now, this is still all the weekly levels. Let's get rid of all of them. Let's start drawing some fresh new zones here. Quickly, I can already spot some few zones. This one is right here. Our demand will start there. And we'll go into our supply zone. Which we quite not there yet. We did make it to this zone though. This was the zone I previously had us at, which was a key level in the Friday special. Made a lot of money off of this zone right here breaking. As you can see what happened. Now I am going to turn this into a demand zone. Previous supply broke out. Nice strong candle. Now it's a demand zone. Do I expect us to come back in here before we get up here? We could. I definitely want to get into the hourly zone and show you what I will expect for this week. And we had this zone right here, which I expect to play a key role if we do break here. So those are the zones I'm looking at on the daily. Seeing how we're getting here, I do expect us to come and touch this zone sometime this week. It'll be very interesting to see us break and lose this support the same week we create support here. So that's what I'm looking for at this week. I'm only going to be paying attention to pretty much just these three right here. These are my zones I would like to see. If things get really bad, we get back to here, but we play zone to zone. And that's what I'm looking at right now. If we do break above here, I'll have that updated. Be interesting to see us just blast through this zone right here. But I can see us playing a lot of games in between here, down, back up, and seeing how that plays out. So that's for the daily time frame. Let's get into the hourly. Okay, perfect. So now, once we're looking at this hourly, still have my daily zones up. I do keep my daily zones up while I switch into the hourly. I see a few zones we can make right here, which we did enter on Friday close. Got that nice move right here into this zone right here. See how we reacted. This was my price target. This is a supply right now. And we got right into it. Pretty close to the top. So my top is 41.47.83. Just to confirm it, let's go into this candle. Double check. So the opening print I have is 41.47.58. So that is the top of that hourly supply zone. So I can see some games getting played right off the beginning of the week. We'll see how this zone reacts. Break above. Straight shot to this. Let me see if I see any resistance on the way there. I don't see a lot of resistance on the way there. I think we could. I do see one area I will trim. That's right there. 41.65. But I could see us coming back down. And if we do come back down, my support levels here off the hourly. Definitely 41.10. See how we react there. And the next one is at this area of consolidation. 40.94. So those are my levels for this week for ES. Definitely looking for a move into this zone where I would potentially take a reject in this zone. The hourly levels in this area is going to be tricky because it was created during pre-markets and after hours. So I don't like taking a zone from here because you can see the volume was not that great. These candles I despise. Probably this zone right here is the only zone I could see right away getting us some. I'll be paying attention to this zone. It's very small, as you can see. Just to show you guys that candle, the high is 4204.8 and the opening is 4202. So I'm definitely going to be paying attention to this level. I might not take no rejections until we get up to this level. I'll stay patient. There is areas where there might be some resistance. You see a lot of candles held support here, support, support, and you know when support fails, it turns into resistance. So maybe 41.90 first, and then we get into this hourly zone. Those are my levels for ES for the week. I do post these watch lists on Team Bull. If you guys are not in there, join. I have the link in my description. And we can make a lot of money together. Well, let's get into SPY. So looking at SPY, kind of the same pattern, same price action as ES, very similar. Broke that downtrend, now consolidating as well. Got my lower demand zone. I got our area of consolidation that's happening right now on the weekly time frame. Came, bounced up, rejected here, came back, picked up more orders, back in the zone. But we're a lot deeper into this weekly zone than we are on ES. So that's definitely the discrepancies and difference between ES and SPY. And we just stay patient on the weekly time frame. We play the zone to zone, wherever they want to do. We break below here, we get into this zone, but like again, don't use an ODTE to target this zone. These are weekly candles. And same for if we break above. It's just something to keep in mind while you're playing the intraday moves, or where the target on the bigger time frames could be. Now let's get into the daily. So now I drew up my zones for SPY on the daily. I do have this zone up here, just similar to ES. Our previous supply turned demand on Friday, and our demand that I've been watching. So for ES and SPY, the difference in why I was paying more attention to ES between these two zones. ES does have that clear zone in between here that was much more defined and better respected compared to SPY. So between these two on SPY, I've only had hourly support and resistance levels, and I've been basing most of my trades and my entries off of the hourly zone on ES, but also keeping in mind of what is going on with SPY between those levels. But now that we're going into here, it's much clearer and very similar with ES, and I can show you guys on the hourly time frame. But this is my daily time frame, how it looks. And we watch and pay attention. 418, 413. I'm looking for us to get into this zone sometime this week, and potentially come back to retest this 404, 407, 445 level. So let's get into the hourly now. So now looking at the hourly, something very interesting. On ES, on the hourly, we are dead in the center of that zone. But it seems on Friday for SPY, we have gotten to the very top of this level. As you can see, my level for this hourly zone on SPY is 408.26 to 409.76. And as you can see, price action here on Friday with SPY, we wicked and closed right at the top of the level. So it's going to be a wait and see game for pre-market. If we're up above it, I have my price targets: 410.77, 412.9, and ultimately that. So for now, I'm going to keep this as supply until I can see price action Sunday night, Monday morning, and then go from there. If we do reject back out, my bounce levels here, as you can see, this strong candle, I'm going to have this 406.68 as a bounce level and this 405.73. And I always use the bottom of the demand as another bounce level before ultimately switching sides and looking to get back to the previous demand. But for now, if you're not in positions for a swing or anything and we do break above, chasing is not the move. If we do hold above these levels, you can take a position. I do not recommend taking positions in between zones, but if you do and you have good proper risk management, these are the levels you can take a position above to ultimately target this level and zone up here. But I would size less than you normally would, size more if we do get this pullback back into this zone. The only place I have a bounce level into this zone here is right there, this 409 level. So if we do get a move up here, and you want to stay patient, this will be demand, and you could potentially take a bounce level right at 409 or the bottom of this zone 408.26, and that is my level for SPY. Similarly, if we get into this zone with SPY and ES, I am going to be using ES to enter my positions. There is an hourly zone in here, but most of these zones were made pre-market, low volume, so I'm not going to pay attention to those. And I hope you guys do enjoy this weekly update, and I hope we do make a lot of money and use proper risk management. Peace.